Hello and welcome to True North podcast. Glad you guys are here. It is so cold here today. Today we are sitting right now minus 30 degrees Celsius. Feels like minus 40 degrees Celsius. So just a little bit chilly. Of course, as some of you might know, once you hit about minus 42, it doesn't matter if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, that's the same. So nice and toasty, which then makes it great to have an electric vehicle. They warm up nice and quick. They are fairly reliable and start even in the cold. But let's go on with what we have to chat about today. So, kind of an update on Rita, the Tesla Model X, our 2016 Tesla Model X. It did go in for service on Friday. It was popping up an error code saying that, the parking brake would not disengage and reduced braking ability. But that was just occasionally. It was an intermittent problem. And because of the intermittency of it, it actually went in a couple weeks prior. They looked at it, said yes, it needs a new wiring harness. So wiring harness was only $120, I believe, but a lot of it was labor. It was going to be, I believe, $1,300, $1,316, something like that. And when we brought it in for Friday to get checked out, they actually couldn't. They saw the code, but it was so far back that they said it's not a problem anymore. And so they said it was up to me whether or not we replaced it. But they recommended we don't replace it yet. They said it might have been just something that was slightly unplugged, and when it was in a couple weeks ago, maybe they plugged it in better. Which then led to me asking, I have worked at dealerships in the past. And I've dealt with dealerships, right? For both work and personal. And the way most dealerships work is it's almost like a 3-part form, or 3-part complaint, I guess. You get the customer stated issue, kind of line 1, how the customer explains something happened, what the issue is. So with us, it would be intermittent issue. The brake light comes on, essentially. Second part would be what the mechanic, the service technician, did, how they tested, what they tested. And so that line should say what they tested. And then, so let's say they tested XYZ plug, found resistance to be too much, too little, whatever. And so recommend replacing wiring harness. And if we replaced it at that time, replace wiring harness, tested, all good. Third line, basically tested wiring harness again. It's basically then saying how it is now. So tested wiring harness, all within range type deal. So when they called on Friday, told me that they don't recommend us changing it, I asked them, well, how did you test it last time to see that this issue was there? And they couldn't tell me. So I don't know if Tesla operates differently and doesn't have those 3-line breakdown type deal, or if they're kind of just going off of when it's usually this code and this. They kind of told me that when it's usually this code, it's usually this wiring harness. So I'm not sure if that's just how they're doing it, which is an issue. They're not testing it then. So how many parts are getting replaced that don't need to get replaced? Because it was actually us kind of pushing back the first time because they wanted to replace the wiring harness to begin with. And us, because they sent us 2 different estimates, because Tesla sends estimates beforehand. So one estimate was for, I believe, $230. The other one was for that $1,900. And so I pushed back and said, well, let's test it first. So that was our initial visit, was them testing. They tested and they, again, recommended the wiring harness get replaced. And then this time they're saying that the wiring harness shouldn't be replaced. So I just question, are we actually testing vehicles? Are we actually taking anything apart and actually looking at it? I'm assuming they took something apart and looked at it. If it maybe was a connector that they plugged in more, I don't, but they can't tell you anything. And so I don't know if that's, I don't know, some sort of Tesla privacy thing or how it's working. I just don't, I don't like how it's too secretive. It seems like there's no, it's basically, okay, here was your issue, okay, it's fixed. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of, how did we get to this point? So yeah, it's awesome that we didn't have to spend the money. It was great that they called and said, hey, we don't recommend the service, and we're actually just going to cancel your appointment so we don't have to, so we weren't charged anything. Awesome. I fully respect that out of Tesla service in Manitoba, in Winnipeg. That was awesome. I greatly appreciate it. But where were we to get to that point? So yeah, that was my issue with that. So I guess the issue came up when it warmed up, got slushy, but was still kind of cold. So I guess maybe come springtime, we'll see if that issue is still there, because that's what they kind of said, is just monitor it to see if it comes back. So I guess that's what we will do. Second point, if you are in Canada, you have unfortunately probably heard the Canada's IZEV program. So that's the $5,000 that the federal government gives to qualifying electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids. So that program is unfortunately done. On the positive side, if there is a positive side, I guess a couple of positives, if we'll say that. So many EVs were purchased that the funding is done. So that's awesome. That shows that we've at least hit this point that people want EVs, that people are willing to go out and buy EVs. Yes, maybe it's because there's a $5,000 program, but maybe that just means, hey, if manufacturers are able to get that $5,000 off, that it still is a vehicle worth it, right? It's saying that the vehicles were $5,000 too much in a way. So it's awesome to see so many vehicles. So many vehicles were purchased. And that also then helps those that maybe only buy used EVs, because now there's a flood of vehicles that are available. I know I only purchased one vehicle using this program, and it was basically shortly after it started. It started in May of 2019, which is about when I ordered our 2019 Kona under this program. And I think it was March actually, and the program started in May, but you could order in March. I forget how it all worked, but the other issue or other positive is a lot of manufacturers have decided to step up and actually cover the $5,000 for vehicles that are on their lot up till the end of the month. Yeah, I get it's helping the dealers kind of get rid of inventory, but it's at least something, right? It's not, hey, we've known for a little while that this program was kind of coming to an end. So it's not a massive shock, but it was scheduled to come to an end March 31st or come to a pause. March 31st, 2025. So, but if you were kind of on the fence looking for that deal, especially right now, like Hyundai has a deal right now for 2024s. They're throwing another $3,000 on the table, which allows a total of, what is that, $8,000? Plus, then there was another incentive. Some dealerships were offering $12,000 off of vehicles that were on their lot, right? So if you were looking at getting a vehicle because of that $12,000, it's no longer just toss it out the window and it's no deal that's going to happen because of it. The manufacturers are stepping up and at least temporarily going to match that $5,000. And I hope that means that a lot more EVs are going to move. The other thing is we still have provinces that are stepping up and offering incentives. Like here in Manitoba, we do have the $4,000. Unfortunately, it's not at the sale of the vehicle. It is you apply for it and we'll say get mailed out to you. I don't know if it's a mail out or a direct deposit. However, it will be sent out to you, but it's at least something still. It's that $4,000 that you can then use. However, if you need a car plug or whatnot, but yeah, so we have that, and hopefully there's a few provinces that have been doing incentives for quite a while that are looking for it to kind of run its course, and I believe it was some of them are running, some are getting done this year, and some are in line to get ran out by next year type deal. Some are also goes off of how much you earn. So there's different factors. Definitely look into your province, see what is available out there, but also go talk to the dealers. The dealers, if they're stuck with 2024 inventory, they're looking to get rid of them. And manufacturers are wanting to move vehicles also. So there is ways out there to still get a great deal on a vehicle. So hopefully something happens with this, with the federal funding. Maybe even if it gets taken up again, it probably won't be for quite a while. I know there's a lot of stuff kind of in play right now about mandatory amounts of vehicles needing to be sold by 2030, by 2015. With the federal government kind of in, we'll say, limbo right now, it's hard to say what's going to happen with all that. I think with EVs alone, we've kind of hit a point where it's like cell phones. Nobody kind of wanted a cell phone initially, then it got more and more progressive that more and more people had cell phones. Now it's hard to see anybody with a home phone instead of a cell phone. Most people are getting rid of their home phones and just going to cell phone. And I feel like that's how it's going to be with EVs. Yes, it's a much bigger purchase. It's not going to be as quick as the cell phones necessarily, but more people that have it get asked questions. How is it going? What are the issues? Questions like that, especially like these last few days here in Winnipeg and Manitoba. Well, heck, it seems like across North America, we are getting so cold right now. And that's always what people say is, well, sure, it's good in the summer, but what about the winter? And now is the time for us as EV owners, as potential EV owners, to get those answers to those that are wondering, how is it in the winter, right? And it could really help out people. It can really help them make that decision. And if that decision is to purchase and you're looking at a Tesla, which the Tesla here in Canada just dropped their price of their autopilot and whatnot. So now might be the time to purchase a Tesla. I don't know if they're just trying to make sales or how it's going, but autopilot just quickly confirming right now. What Model Y, which is kind of their best seller, is 525 kilometer range. Even on a worse deal, you're looking at what 260 kilometers range in that. 60 grand, which isn't bad compared to a lot of vehicles out there. But full self-driving is now 11 grand. So we're starting to drop prices because I don't think as many people are taking this up as they wanted. So prices are going down right now. Especially the Model Y right now. A new one should be coming out hopefully this year. It's coming out in a few European countries, in China, in Australia. So we should be seeing it in North America shortly, which should drop the price of the current Model Ys down. But if you are looking to get a Tesla and you know somebody that has one, there is still referral codes out there which allows the buyer to get money off and the purchaser to get money off or to get a credit. So just looking at our app right now, it'd be $650 in Tesla credits I would get if you used my code. So that goes towards maintenance or purchasing something, some sort of accessory, and the buyer would get $1,300 off. With that, that does tie into and you could be used with, like here in Manitoba, the $4,000 credit that you could be getting. So you could essentially get $5,300 off, which if you were looking at the autopilot with it, you'd almost be paying half of the autopilot price. But yeah, so there's that. Lots of great deals out there. Definitely go check it out, guys. EVs are fantastic in the cold. I haven't had any issues per se. I say that going into kind of what happened today. So I also have a 2014 Nissan Leaf. So with the Leaf, I used it to go drop off my son, where I usually stop to drop him off. I don't know if there's just more electrical interference or something's there that I'm not seeing. I know when I go to turn the car back on, there's a lot more. Seems like relays clicking. If you ever listen to your vehicle when you start it, it runs tests. When your whole dashboard is kind of lit up with lights, it's the car testing features, testing itself. And so there is some clicks and clanks of relays, testing them out. And I've noticed that there's a lot, it seems to do a lot more of that in this spot. And actually today, on the really cold day, it actually didn't want to start up for me. It actually was saying that I had an iKey system fault. So after about 5 or 6 tries, it finally did start up. When I got back home, I kind of did the good old Google, see what the issues could be. One is the 12-volt battery issue, which it is a possibility, but I know I do have like a little, it's an accessory plug, but it does show the battery voltage. So it was at 14.3 volts, so battery was good. Key fob problems. Could be a key fob problem. I do only have one key fob, so I probably should get a second key fob though, just as a backup. But So I know I've talked about it before that I should get a second key, and it'd be good for the wife to have a key, but kind of if anything ever happens and I lock myself out or the battery dies on the key fob, which that could also be an issue, is battery on the key fob. I'm not sure. I believe on the 2014s it will say on their low key fob battery. I know my work truck, which is a 2015 F-150, it warns you that key fob battery is getting low. On our Tesla, it warns that the key fob battery is getting low. So I believe on the Nissan Leaf it should also do that. So we got door handle replacement. So if you don't replace it with a factory door handle, it could pull this issue. There was no replacement of door handles recently. But with the cold, I know the doors don't like to close. I need to do a great thorough cleaning of everything once it warms up, and get any gunk and grease out of there that's old that is preventing the doors from closing in the cold. Could be steering lock mechanism, which again could just be something dirty there. Diagnostic codes, and then interference from other devices, which I believe is the case. I'm going to start parking in other places and whatnot and see if I still have this issue. So the little write-up on that is sometimes other RFID devices on your keychain can interfere with the key fob signal. Ensuring there is no interference can help resolve the fault. If something is strong enough, though, it might not just be on the keychain type deal. So I'm hoping that's kind of the main issue, and if I park it in a different spot, kind of just helps solve that problem. But yeah, I guess we'll see, right? So I guess that one I'll update you guys on later. So in the meantime, we do have Manitoba EV, a chat, or I guess our monthly meeting, is going to be coming up on the January 30th. So before my next podcast, so January 30th, if you guys want, I'll throw the link in there. Thursday, 7 p.m., and that's on Google Meet. So you don't have to go anywhere. We're just online. And I'd also highly recommend you guys go check out Kilowatt. Bodie is awesome. He's got also another great podcast that he does with Rob Dunn, kind of helping anybody that's interested in getting into social medias, whether it's podcasting, YouTube, whatever. Answers questions about that, so definitely go check them out. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, in the link also is the Manitoba EV rebate questions. Go check that out. I know different provinces will have different ways of getting the answers you need. But yeah, thanks and have a great day. Oh, if you guys do want to reach out to me, you can go check me out. Shoot me an email at truenorthevpodcast@gmail.com. You could check me out on Facebook at True North EV. You could message Manitoba EV at info@manitobaev.ca if you have any questions about any EVs or any programs, any sort of chargers within Manitoba or elsewhere. Hopefully we can help you out. Yeah, and so this is podcast number 2 of 26. So far we're staying on schedule. Thanks, and hopefully we'll chat again shortly.